Hey, this is BlindFox and welcome at my Ration review. Please support the channel, go and subscribe, and please go and donate on patreon.com. Today we are going to be doing the SERAC, or the part 2 of the SERAC 24-hour deluxe menu, pack 1. This is going to be lunch and dinner. So let's get started. I'm going to have sort of a large lunch today. We're going to have the 200 grams of beef curry. It's just a normal SERAC pouch again. We're going to have the pap. Today I'm going to mix the two, which I don't normally do since I haven't done it recently. So I'm going to mix these. We are going to have the sweets. I'm also going to have the Caribbean energy bar, or the Caribbean raisin energy bar. I don't know, this one seems a bit funny, the end there, so I think it might be a bit cut off there, but we'll see later. We're going to do the guava isotonic drink. We're going to have the chicken soup in a cup. We're also going to have the tropical drink. I'm not going to drink it since it's already expired, and I'm not going to take a chance on that. But it's nice to get the drink. It's just a bit stupid because if this drink bursts, your whole pack will be covered in juice. So it's a bit stupid for me to put in the drink. But it's here. It's a nice sturdy box. So this would have made a part of lunch. And this is just the normal salt and pepper and serviette and cutlery. So let's get this stuff. I've had this before. It's got a slight chicken smell. The guava is in 2 packets, but it makes a cup each, so I'm just going to use all of them at once. It's just slight powder, so I'll go and mix everything and I will be back. So while we are waiting for our food to heat up, this is the chicken soup. This one is not as this one is very quite more runny than the one I had in, I think it was meal pack 2. Or was it free now? Can't remember. That was in the deluxe pack. I can't remember if it was 2 or 3. But anyways, it's much less or much more runny than the previous one we had. It's the same light creamy color. There's a bit of, I saw carrots. I think it was a carrot. There's some green stuff in there. It's also got a slight chicken taste. Tastes much similar to the other chicken soups I had. I think it was chicken soup in the previous one. But anyway, it tastes very slightly chickeny, not so salty as some of the other soups I've had. It's not as thick as the previous soups. Chicken soup I had in the SA rations. I just used 250 ml of water. I'll do this again in the dinner, just in a normal cup, and see how that goes. Not that will use less than 250 ml. So see how that goes. But this is slight chicken flavor, very slightly flavored. It wasn't meal too. Nice chicken. It's very slight chicken flavor, but you can taste the slight chicken flavor. It's more it's not as strong as other cup of soups I've had. This is the guava drink. You can see it's a vivid orange. It doesn't really smell guava. Maybe sort of artificial guava type drink. Really artificial. It just smells very sweet. Tastes very artificial. You can't really, if they don't tell you this is guava, you can't really taste this. It's more just a somewhat sweet fruit type flavor drink. Quite sweet, in fact. Just more a bit, very sweet, sort of rehydrated cool drink, like just a sweet cool drink. But it tastes extraordinarily artificial. So while we wait, this is the Caribbean raisin energy bar. You can see here, I think this bar got squashed or got cut off in the machines because it's such a short little bar, and I don't know, but anyway, You can see it's a darker sort of creamy color outside and a lighter creamy color inside. You can see there's stuff that might be the raisins there and there. It's sweet. This isn't chocolate, so it won't melt if you have it in summer. It's sort of sticky. It's got that protein energy bar feel to it. It tastes much better than the maize bars they have. It's just, it's sweet. It's sort of a funny, I don't know, raisiny, funny taste, just a sweet taste. Like a sweet fruity taste. And you get that energy protein bar structure. Now we had this in the meal free, I think. Well, we had this before. It was in meal free. This is the same blue, whatever flavor this is. It tastes sort of a berry, some type of berry flavor. It's much similar to Super C's. It's just it's not flat on top and it breaks easily, but the texture is similar to a Super C. If you suck it, it will stay in your mouth for a long time, but if you bite on it, it will go all crumbly and sugary, and the taste is just sort of a indeterminable berry flavor taste. Now that the soup has stand for a bit, it has thickened up a slightly bit more, so it is much more like the other chicken soup we had, much more thickened, and it still just have a slight chicken taste. So I'll go and get the food and we'll check that out. Okay, I have heated the stuff up. I've squashed the pop down just to get it a bit to warm up a bit better, in that it's covered by the water more. If you want to the ingredients of this stuff, this is 150 grams and the main meal is 200 grams. It is on my Twitter and on my Facebook page somewhere. South Africa, all the 200 grams has got one. The ingredient sheet, the 150 grams has got one, and the 300 grams has got one. As all the South African stuff, it opens at the top. I'll just zoom in a bit. I don't want to. Now this is very hot. You can see there the maize porridge is down at the bottom. I sort of squashed it up a bit. You get a maize smell when you open this. Just for interest's sake, most porridges or even samp in South Africa is white. For some reason people don't really do yellow maize meal. The only time I have seen yellow maize meal actually is when there's a drought or something. Now I squashed this up beforehand, and you can see it is much more, it's not in that particular sheet form, it's just a bit squashed up more. So it actually works better. You guys, the guys that do the ration reviews and always moan about your ration heaters not working and your food is not hot. If you use hot water to heat this stuff up, it can be extraordinarily hot. And to get this stuff out, because it's sort of sticky maize pap, it's not a runny, it's sort of a very, you can see it's a very sticky thing. To get that out of that little packet, it can be somewhat painful to your fingers. So let's check out the maize pap. As I said before, this is not a breakfast dish. If you want to have it for breakfast, in English it's normally a porridge, although it's the same name in Afrikaans for both these dishes. This one, as you can see, it's much stiffer dish than the breakfast dish, a bit more runny, and you eat that with milk and sugar. This is eaten with a savory dish. So let's check this out. This doesn't have much of a taste or flavor. You just get the maize taste. It's supposed to be like that. The flavor comes from whatever dish you eat with this. This is just a neutral thing, as normal rice is. Just to be the neutral accompaniment to a meal, or the neutral starch in a meal. It's sort of to bulk up the rest of the meal. So this is the curry. You can see the label got disappeared a bit. I also squashed this up a bit. down there is the curry. I'll just throw this on. This one delaminated a bit when I opened it. Now you will see this one doesn't show up as saucy as some of the other dishes we had, but I think it got sort of, its meat got sort of squashed, so the sauce sort of went into everything. So this is not, it doesn't show up as being as saucy. So let's taste this without the pap. The pap is underneath there. You can see there the meat is all squashed up. There's some potatoes in there. This is real meat. The good thing about if the pieces, it's normally sort of largish pieces. The good thing if the pieces are sort of squashed up is the sauce gets into the meat itself. So you don't have the dryness of the meat as it would be if the sauce wasn't in between it. So the meat is much less dry. If it's in large pieces, the large meat pieces can be a bit dry. But in this form, it's not as dry, so it's quite nicer to eat. This is still a curry. You get the cumin smell. It's got a nice curry taste to it. It's got a slight burn. I don't think it needs any salt. You could put in more salt and pepper. I've mixed the pap in with the curry. The pap dissolves because it's sort of small granulars and not clumped up. The pap sort of dissolves throughout the dish. You get the crumbliness of the maize. You still get the slight maize taste, but the curry does sort of take it over as it should. It sort of increases the bulk of the curry, and it takes away the sauciness of this dish, which is quite proper. Although the sauciness was already a bit less since the meat was sort of, it got squashed somewhere along the way. But this is quite a fine, this is a nice dish. I'm not really a fan of pap, but this is not a bad pap. I just don't like the texture. So that was a lunch. It was a nice lunch. The cool drink is disappointing as a cool drink normally is, because you really, if they don't tell you what it is, you won't really guess. The chicken soup was just slight normal chicken soup, and the beef curry is nice. The sweets is just sweets, and the raisin bar is just quite sweet. Or the Caribbean raisin bar. These energy stuff is nice because they don't have chocolate around it, so it doesn't. If it's summer here, this stuff will, the chocolate just melt. This stuff doesn't. It just gets sort of sticky. So, and I'm not going to drink the tropical cool drink or the fruit juice, since it's already expired, and I'm somewhat, I don't always react well to guava, but so that was lunch. But see you at dinner. Welcome at dinner. This is just the same serviettes and stuff, cutlery we had the whole day. We've got salt and pepper here. We have got some chicken, pasta and veg. These chicken pieces are quite large in this pasta, so I just squashed them a bit just to flatten them out and just to expose them to any sauce that might be present in this pasta. Just for them to get, because they are sometimes a bit dry. If they are they're nice and real chicken breast pieces, but sometimes the nice bigness of them that is a bit, cause them to be a bit dry. But we are going to have this. It's 300 grams. If you want to see the ingredients, it is on my Facebook and Twitter page. The meals of African stuff comes with, some of them comes in little envelopes, and all the ingredients of that particular weight meal, sort of a 300 gram meal, all of them is on the same, on the same little envelope. So there we go. We're going to have chicken soup. There's 2 packets of chicken soup here. See, I used one of the plastic bags. I'm going to use one for normal chicken soup. Then I might use the other one for a little sauce to go with our pasta if it's not saucy enough, or just to check out how it will taste. We're going to use the cheese in the pasta. This is Gouda. I know this because it's yellow. The cheddar is orange, and the biltong, whatever other one, is another color. I see this one was packaged funny. sort of. Anyway, we're not going to use the milk. That's already expired, and I'm not going to try. I don't know, just not going to use it. And I don't use milk in my tea anyway. We've got some sugar, which we are not going to use. I don't like sugar in my tea. We've got some tomato sauce, which I don't think we're going to use, because this is such a little bit of tomato sauce and it's really not very flavorful. It really doesn't change the taste of your dish anyway. And we have got some generic black tea. Sometimes they don't even tell you what type of tea, but this time at least they tell you. This one again is in a Ziploc bag. Some of the other teas you get in these rations are not in Ziploc bags. They're just in a some other sealed little bag. Sometimes you get 2 teas, sometimes you only get 1 like now. So this is going to be our dinner. A little small dinner. So I'll go and mix everything and warm everything up and we'll get started with this dinner. So what we have here is just the soup. I've put in less water than last time. I actually added a bit more soup powder to this because we had 2 packets. This is the very thick one that I'm going to use for the pasta sauce just now. So let's check out the other one. This one is again nice and thick because there's less water in than the lunch one. It's nice and thick. You taste the carrots nicely. I had a piece of carrot now. It's still just a light chicken taste. Not overwhelmingly salty. Almost bland. But it's light and chickeny. Now the tea is just steeping. The chicken pasta is nice and quite warm. Or hot. As all the other South African stuff, that opens at the top. You can eat out of this, but it's a bit difficult. I could use the knife and fork, but I'm not. I'm just going to use a spoon. You can see there is pasta, there is some veg, there's at least a carrot in there. You can see the nice piece of chicken. There's some pasta. The pasta is very soft. The vegetables are quite soft. The chicken is a bit dry. There isn't a lot of flavor in this. It's actually quite bland. So the first thing we are going to add, this is the cheese. This is a very dry cheese. I think this one is a bit old, but you can still eat it. It's not as salty as cheddar. The serviette is just a normal takeaway serviette. It's not very large. It's some sort of hard tissue paper type thing. The cheese does help a bit with the taste, but this still needs a lot of herbs and stuff, so I'm going to put some of this soup on here. I said the cheese helps a bit more salty, but not really a lot. This really needs some Italian type herbs. Well, the pasta just stands a bit with the soup in. Let's check out the black tea. This is just a normal black tea, not extraordinarily bitter, not extraordinarily bland. It's got that black tea taste to it. It's just a nice middle of the road tea. Nothing really to write home about. Now I've mixed the soup in here. There we go. Now the soup, the bit of hot water sort of helps with the dissolving of the cheese. You get a bit more salt, which helps for the pasta. It's a bit more chickeny flavor. You get the cheese flavor. And because of the soup that became a sauce, the chicken isn't so very dry anymore. So this is quite the improvement. I really think this extra soup improved the pasta a lot. It's still lacking in some Italian herbs, but the soup did have a bit of herbs. So that was the dinner. It was a light dinner. The chicken soup was nice and light. The tea was a nice black tea, and the pasta did improve quite a lot with the soup. It's a bit bland without the soup and the cheese. It really needs some help. And that's the end of dinner. Thanks for watching the dinner part with me. And that brings us into the end of the SERAC 24-hour Deluxe MRE Pack 1 review. Overall the pack was okay. The sad thing was all the milk and the juice that had expired. That was not nice. But overall it was fine. The rest of the contents. The oats also expired, but it sort of, you can still take a chance on oats if there's not anything living in it, and even then you can still maybe eat it. But so it was sad that there was stuff expired, but overall the pack was nice. The mixture of foods was nice. So thanks for watching. Please subscribe to the channel, please go and donate on patreon.com, and see you at my next Russian review.